afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our World Hour of Power Show. And it's going to be a power show today. And how is the audience doing? I hope everybody's well. And in case you want to call in, let me give you 347-410-8077. Let me repeat that 347-410-8077. So if any of us want to call in, please do. Today I have with me my co-host, oh wow, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, the Honorable Mayor of Southern Boulevard is here. And how are you doing, Glenn,
I'm
today?
great, great. It's another day above ground. It's always a good day.
And we had a very good evening, didn't we?
Yeah, we were at
Yeah.
JCal 50th Gala
Yeah.
anniversary of their existence, and it was right up the street at the Jamaica Performing Arts Center, and
It was a great turnout.
it was good turnout, good crowd, and things are happening here in Jamaica, Queens. So
Yeah.
we'll have to keep it going.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that are getting ready to pop off, we have with us Brenda Jones, who's come in from Colorado to feature the Playwright of the Month. So welcome, Brenda.
Why, thank you very much, Glenn, Pauline, and welcome everybody who's here at the show. Glenn was just speaking of JCal, which is Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning, just in case you're wondering what's this JCal thing. And I work with JCal on a short play series known as Meet the Playwright. It is basically a half-hour, 45-minute play. You get to meet the playwright and have a Q&A session. We do it once a month just because we're about opening up the doors to the theater to new playwrights, because it's really hard for anybody, especially in the New York area, to do a play that's not going to cost an arm and a leg and a couple other things. We won't mention those. But we've been doing this. This is season number 2. The June performance, which is June 27th, we will talk about that. That's a Monday. In a while, is the last play of this season. We'll probably have an upcoming season very, very soon, but we'll get to those details later on. But right now, I'd really like to introduce you to our June Playwright of the Month. And sitting right next to me is Willie Ann Gissendanner. Yes, Gissendanner. You got that right, so don't even try to get me backwards on this one.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to our world.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you talk. No, you guys talk. I'm going to sit here and listen because
Why?
Willie Ann and I have talked a lot. It's like, okay, I'm going to sit here and just listen in.
Now, Willie Ann, I wanted to find out, when did you get started and what inspired you to become a playwright?
Well, I remember being in the first grade and I played a tulip. and
A beautiful tulip, I might add, right?
but thank you. And I had to wear this little crepe paper dress with a crepe paper crown. And for weeks, my mama couldn't get me not to sleep in it. That's when I decided I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
And I didn't even know exactly the word actor. So anyway, coming forward, I wind up in New York City at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's nice.
Thank you. And I graduate and I get a scholarship from the American Theater Wing, and it was matched by a federal grant. Now, the problem is that when I was at the Academy, we did wonderful plays, but none of the plays I did, except one, had anything to do with people of color.
Okay.
And as an actor, pounding the beat every day and trying to find work, it was also very difficult. They wanted you to conform to a standard, you know, and
A low one.
yeah, and as time went on, and I had a career. I graduated from Payne College in Augusta, Georgia, before I attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And I graduated with a degree in social science, a concentration in history, which prepares you for Nothing specific.
Yeah.
you know. So, but anyway, I continued to, whenever I could, participate in theater and some limited television. And finally, I decided that the only way I was going to get to do the work that I wanted to do is to create it myself. Okay. And so, and the inspiration, I've written several plays, but the inspiration from one of my plays is my mother. I won't go into that, but she gave me a lot of material.
She inspired you?
She inspired me, to say the least. And she's transitioned now. I'm so sorry she's not physically with me to see the progress that we're making. However, to answer your question about this play, the title of this play is Pearls and Swine. That's not the original title. The original title is This Body Is Mine. And it's about a woman's right to her own body. But I forgot to mention that not only was I raised by my mother, I was raised by my mother's mother, my grandmother. Okay. And she had all of these sayings. And one of the things that she would say is, don't cast your pearls before swine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, they wanted me to graduate from high school, go to college, get an education, and not throw my life away dealing with, they were not against marriage, but they were not about walking behind the man. They were about being beside the man.
Sure.
And so my grandmama used to say, and I hope this doesn't get censored.
Uh-oh.
I'm ready. Let's get censored.
Get that button ready.
My grandmama used to say, you know, if you get the urge, wiggle on a rag. Don't be no man's fool.
Okay.
Glenn, you seem to be speechless for a moment there.
That's very interesting statement. Okay.
So it sounds a little raunchy, but it's all about self-protection.
Mm-hmm.
And so often women tend to fall in love or fall into despair and give all of themselves
To somebody that's not worthy.
that's
of that.
not worthy. And that's where, so you're throwing your pearls.
Yes.
Before swine.
Yes. Because it's not going to be appreciated. It's just
Exactly.
going to be used.
Yes.
Yeah, my mother used to tell me that too, and my grandmother. Yeah, she used to say, "Oh no, not that man. No."
And we like to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
What do they know?
You know,
I ignored.
but they've been down that road, and they're
yes.
trying their best to keep you from having to go down the same road.
That's a beautiful saying, and as I said, I've heard it throughout my life because sort of similar to you, I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, and they had all these expressions, you know, and some of them, you know, wasn't sounded so nice, but I understand where you're coming from. So that's what really inspired you to do this play, your mom.
Well, my mom has always been my inspiration for everything that I wanted to do. I always wanted to please her. I don't know. That's another show. But what inspired this play was about, I think it was 2018, and there was a lot of stuff in the news about abortion rights, Roe v. Wade. And you know, when you think about it, every day I turn on the television, there's a commercial about some kind of male enhancement product to help him have a glorious experience.
Right.
And only, relatively a few years ago, 20, 30 years ago, did it become legal for women to get contraceptives.
Right.
Whereas men, so you're trying to make sure a man is able to have what he needs in order to express himself and maybe create another generation. But the woman is just supposed to be a receptacle, not anything. She must endure no matter what. It changes her life. She has other aspirations. She's not always able to recognize or feel fulfilled by her aspirations because, and I'm not a parent, but I've been a child. And but because having a baby, having another human being come through your body, through your life, that you're responsible for the rest of your life,
Yes.
no matter if they're 18 or not. And a man has, no offense, gentlemen, but a man has the fun and seemingly little of the responsibility, except, of course, a noble man is going to take care of his responsibility.
Right.
But the laws used to be, if a woman got pregnant and it wasn't immaculate conception, she was to bear the brunt of that.
She was responsible.
Right.
Yes. yes.
The father didn't even have to give the child his name if he didn't want to. And so the child is labeled a bastard. And the mother is labeled fallen. And so that seems so unfair. It's as unfair as slavery and racism. And so when you think that you're born into this world with your body and you don't have a right to your body, that you must adhere to the wishes of the state, and the state usually being white men who decide who should have a baby and who not. And by the way, only people who are not white have to be more concerned about their sexual and reproductive rights. Because if you've got money, I'm thinking back, 50 years or so ago, where a woman she realized that she was carrying a baby that was deformed. I mean, I think it was in the 50s, there was this drug called thalidomide. And this woman realized that that her baby would be deformed, and she did not want to have it. So she went the court route, and she was denied. But then she got on a plane and went to Switzerland.
And it was done.
And so right now in this country, people who are not always politically savvy have to suffer the slings and arrows of those people who use their political power to manipulate and control the populace. And so this body is mine is an attempt, and Pearls and Swine, which I told you is the second time, is an attempt to bring awareness to women and their right, to people, and especially to young women and their rights not to have an unwanted pregnancy. And let's face the facts. Whether it's legal or not, if a woman doesn't want to carry a baby, a lot of times she will risk her life not to go through with that pregnancy.
That's what happened many years ago. I mean, years ago, that was happening. That women had abortions, they hemorrhaged out. You know, they got infection.
They used
hangers. Things that, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, back alley abortions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why abortion rights was actually put into effect.
Granted,
Yeah, so it's sort of like, stop already. It's not up to everybody. It's up to the woman and the doctor. And then all of a sudden we're confused in this year, in the last 10 years, in the last 15 years, as to what really is the rights of. And I'll throw something in there because clearly she's going to be a politician soon. It's not only, and this is how I look at abortion rights, it's not only the choice of I want to or I'm not going to have the baby, it's also the rights of a woman for her life. Because having a child does really become part of your life.
Yes, it does.
And even if you decide to give the baby up, there's all that thing in the back of your head saying, I had a baby, I'm going to ignore it, or I'm going to worry about it for the rest of my life. It is a choice, a life choice a woman has to make. Yeah. So it's not only I'm giving birth or I'm not giving birth, it's I'm changing my life to accommodate what I'm about to have or not have.
True.
So there's a lot of, it's about the baby, you know, that point of conception, that's really wonderful, but that woman has taken it on from that point on.
I wanna piggyback on something that you all said. The rights, and to this Sunday coming is Father's Day, you know, and throughout the years, fathers have not been recognized like how mothers have. Okay, as far as you must get this, the flowers, the this, the candy, and the stuff. But we, white men, black men, Spanish men, everybody plays a part in this. Okay, because children come into this world, you know, and they have to be taken care of. They have to be taken care of. And sometimes you take care of that child for the rest of your life, you know. And sometimes men get the opportunity to walk away and act like it never happened. And so there's a lot of things that, have to be considered about this abortion thing. And then you have women that have 5, 6 abortions. They don't realize about birth control. You know, they use having abortions as a way to
Birth
eliminate,
control, yeah.
yes, birth control. So I feel that um, people need to be educated all around. Men must be educated for women to control their life and their body, but they also have to take the responsibility for those decisions that women do make, and they don't. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, let me jump in because I've been a little quiet
Yeah.
in this conversation. What comes to mind is a lot of a lot of people know that I'm about financing and focusing on financial literacy, and Robert Kiyosaki is one of the guys that I really admire his concept, and he's got a board game called Cash Flow.
That's like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, am I right?
Yeah, Rich
Yes.
Dad Poor
Okay.
Dad,
Yeah.
and he has a board game called Cash Flow. And one of the things that when I've had people who are teachers take that game into the classroom, young men and women begin to realize that there are consequences to having a child,
Yes.
and that there are expenses that go around it. And I think that that's one of the places for us as a society to understand that it's not just having the baby, but there are also the financial consequences that are associated with it, and that's for both the men and the women
Yes.
when they're considering and looking at a future being that they're going to bring into the world. And I think that that's part of the sensitivity that you are pointing to in terms of how our society takes care of women, number one, in terms of giving them what they need to make the choices. And then, of course, once the baby's here, how's that baby going to be supported? And I think that in our community, especially, I think that that we need to have more education about that prior to the birth of the child. And again, uh, finding the young people inside of this game, understanding and realizing it as an ongoing expense, and then let's look at the other side of it. If you, for some reason, get a child that needs special care or special needs, that child is going to be dependent on the parents
Maybe for all their
possibly
lives.
for their entire
and
life.
society,
And
society.
society. Yeah.
And that's something that people don't realize, that motherhood is forever.
Even when you say get out of my house, yes, it is.
It's forever. I'm going to speak about abortion. And I was raised as a Catholic, and I went to Catholic school all my life. And one of the things they said, no abortion. They didn't even believe in birth control. But my mother always said, don't bring home no baby before you are ready to have the finances to take care of the child.
Right.
Because there will be some problems up here in this house.
You won't be in it. Yes, that problem.
Yes, and being that my family's from the West, and there is that stigma. Don't get pregnant if you're not married, and if you do, families look down on you. If you got pregnant in the West Indies, they would send the girl over to New York City.
A distant relative.
Yeah. And if you was
Auntie, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you was down south, you was sent someplace else up to New York or something like that, because it was an embarrassment.
Yes.
So it's always been something of a shame, something shameful that you have done as a woman. And please, God forbid, if you have gotten raped, and you are now forced to carry a child that, is
That will remind you of the rape
for every day of your life.
Every time you look into that child's life.
Yeah.
And then the double standard. I hear everything that you're saying. You're absolutely right. The only thing that's changed a little bit is that nowadays, if a woman decides to have a baby and she's not married, it's not looked upon
As badly.
But do you know why it's not looked upon badly? Because the white establishment in the 70s changed that type of thinking, wherein the white women was going to work and saying, it's okay, I can work and I can take care of the baby, I don't need to be married, and so forth. But when you look at the white woman, she maybe is making a good salary. So even though she's not married, she was able to have that child and still take care of that child properly. But people of color are not able to do that as women.
And to that point, it's to me that is why women's lib of that,
Yes.
I guess would be the 70s, late 60s,
yes,
early 70s.
yeah.
Women's lib, I have a job. And I'm thinking my mom
Right.
always worked. What do you mean that, it's like, why is this? It may have legitimized the fact that women needed to have equal pay, which folks, you still ain't doing it, but it's still, it was liberating for a certain part of the populace.
Yeah.
But not for everyone.
No. So this abortion thing affects our society forever, as to when the person, whether they're going to have the child, if they're not going to have the child, there's always consequences for your action.
Correct. But in addition to that, when you think about what a child needs, what a family needs, but that the people who are so-called pro-life are pro-death penalty,
Yes.
are pro not having, are pro not allowing a child whose skin is not white attend a particular school. They might not say they are being not discriminated against because of race, but then they make it economic, which sometimes is the same thing. And so it's a double standard. And my play deals with the issue, the two scenes that will be presented on the 27th of June. This young woman has been violated.
Don't tell everything.
Okay. Okay.
The butler did it, but don't tell him.
But she has been violated. And now the man that she adored, or thought she adored, has decided she wanted to marry him. And now he has decided it is time to get married, but for his benefit. not for her
Benefit.
benefit. And she has been trained, conditioned to believe that abortion is wrong.
Okay.
And so then she meets, she has a friend who give
I'm telling the butler did it, but I can't tell them that yet.
Wait
Okay.
1 second, lady. Don't give away the plot or.
okay.
So I want to say, when is this play going to be shown, and where at? Because running out of
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So we want to get through what we have
You
to
announce where it's going to be.
It is
shown.
going to be at JCAL, which is Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning, which is in Jamaica, Queens, not Jamaica the country, so let's not get confused.
Right.
It is 161-04 Jamaica Avenue, the last stop in Queens for the E train. It's a block away from the E train, so you can't miss it because you're not in Queens, if that's the case. It is Monday, the 27th of June, not next month, but June. It's 7 p.m. curtain time. For those of you who can't make it to Jamaica, Queens, or the country, I would suggest you tune into YouTube. Same time, YouTube, it's jcal.org, jcal.org/meet-the-playwright. And it will take you directly to that page. And you will be able to see what we see because it is going to be live streamed as well. But definitely June 27th, 7 p.m. curtain time. If you're coming to the theater, go on to jcal.org, look for Meet the Playwright. We have to have your name because right now you will be wearing a mask in the theater. You do not have to bring your vaccination card. We're not going to go that far, but we're trying to be very cautious, as everyone else is. If your name is not on the list, you're not getting in. And because JCal is also a community center, there's a lot of people who are in and out of there because we have fine arts exhibitions going on in dance classes, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to make sure that we keep the theater tight and everybody who should be there is there. We're not going to email you 1,000 times saying, give me money. This is purely to make sure that the people who are in the theater want to be there and they've signed up for it.
And remember, folks, we are now giving opportunities to playwrights of color to be able to present their work. They present half an hour, and then there's time for discussions about the theme and what gets presented with the playwright. So it's an opportunity to engage. It's an opportunity to let folks know about the kinds of work that you're doing, that you're writing about, and the beautiful things that are made available in our community, for our community, by our community.
Well, that's true.
Amen.
I'm going to have to jump in there just because I left out one really important thing because New Yorkers think this way. Yes, it's free. The F word, free. Okay, so I just want to let you know that because people are like, well, she didn't say nothing about tickets. Yes, she did. They're free. Just sign up with your name and that's all you need to have.
Great. My producer is whispering in my ear that it's time for me to go. It was great having you.
Thank you.
I wish you great success. I think I will be able to make it to the play and so forth because it's very inspiring, and I love to see Black women accomplish.
Thank you all so very much.
Yeah, we've been listening to Our World, Our Power show here, located here in Queens, South Jamaica, Queens.
Yay.
Give a shout out. Catch you all next week. Lady Pauline and my co-host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich.
And don't forget, we've got the Air Train Jazz is picked up 5 to 7 at the Air Train Terminal. And we're going to have the Harvest Festival September 17th, shutting down Sutphen Boulevard between Jamaica Avenue and Hillside all day long. And the theme this year is going to be around circus. So we may have some trapeze and some other things happening
That
there.
sounds very interesting.
We'll keep you updated on what's happening.
All right.
I'll come in from Colorado for that because I was with the first one, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
you were.
And it was a lot of fun, and I ate way too much, and it's all Glenn's fault. Just want you to know that. But there's some slam and carrot cake. I don't know who does it, but be out there because it's there.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Catch you all next week, all right? Have a good week, my listeners.